Are you struggling to reach more people? Are you wanting to be seen as the expert in your industry? Now is the perfect time to learn how to do just that. I am AmondaRose Igoe, your Speaking Success Strategist, and I have a very special guest here with me, T. Allen Haynes. And you're going to learn a lot today about how you could really be the authority that you are meant to be. Welcome, T. Allen.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, I'm super excited. Now, T. Allen, please share with our viewers, tell us a little bit about what you do and the type of people that you help.
Great. I help entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, and speakers position themselves in the marketplace as the go-to expert. So anybody that's looking for them would be.
So because a lot, I see this with many people is that they're really struggling with getting speaking opportunities as well as, finding those ideal clients. So how did you get started in this?
Well, I made a decision, and when you make a decision, something dies. So you move forward, and I went out and sought the best in the industry. And when I Googled that person came up, and I attended one of their seminars, and he was teaching about speaking and product development and how to get on stages. And he talked about, famous people that were speaking and how to get on their stage. And I was thinking, well, I'd like to get on this person's stage at some point in time, but that call never came and I never got asked. So I got into creating my authority by doing the things that celebrities do. And I call it the Dave Ramsey effect. And this Dave Ramsey effect is doing what celebrities do. And that is, they publish books. That is, they're featured on major media, such as Forbes, such as Entrepreneur. They're asked to appear on television. They might have their own radio show. They might have their own magazine. So I call that the authority code, which is a formula which I used to build that platform. So when people hear my name or see me speak somewhere else, they Google my name and they see that, in fact, that I am who I say I am.
Because I think that's really important is you could hear somebody and they say that they are, the expert or the number one in this, and then you Google them and you don't see anything about them, right? So for example, I was connected with somebody that somebody thought might be a great partnership or relationship, like a joint venture or affiliate partnership. So they said, why don't you guys have a conversation? Well, Of course, I Googled the person. And I didn't see anything related to this business that this person was telling me that they do. Nothing. Now I saw something that was more in the creative industry, but I did not see it. So now I'm still going to talk with the person, but my alert button is up. Are they the real deal?
Exactly. And I can only tell you what's worked for me, and I can only share with you what's worked for me, because I love telling the story of when you have something that you need a pain relieved or something, or you need a solution, you always go to your circle of influence, right? You always go to the people closest to you. And you ask the question, look, I'm looking to remodel my kitchen, and you have anybody in mind that, I can reach out to? So they give you a name. Well, here's the truth of the matter, folks. When you get that name and you just said it, you're going to go to Dr. Google. And what's Dr. Google going to say? And I always ask when I speak, I ask the $1 million question. When I Google your name, what am I going to find? Am I going to find that you are who you say you are as an expert? And what are those trust triggers? Have you built those trust triggers along the line and have a pattern of authority? And does it show that? And are you an advocate or an educator and an advocate to your target audience? So I take that name, I put it in Dr. Google, and like you said, it comes back, but I don't see anything. The most authoritative site out there, by the way, is LinkedIn. It's going to come up first every time. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you're probably not a professional. And if you do have a LinkedIn profile and you don't have a picture and that silhouette comes up of who you're supposed to be, that's a red flag. That's the first red flag. And we're just getting started. So as you go down the page, let me back up a little bit. Your brand is your name. It's not your company name. It's not any other name. It's your name. Because when I'm networking, and talking to people, they want to know about you. Can you help me? And what is the least resistance that I can get help from you? And the first one is to find out online what it is that you're about. So as I go down the page, I see you're on social media, but you're not active. The last picture you posted was when you were at a party and you're doing a beer bong and you're standing on your head. And you know, I'm second red flag, by the way. So, you know, those are all trust triggers. And then those are mistrust triggers. You want to have the trust triggers, and the trust triggers is somebody else talking about you. And I'm not talking about testimonials. I'm talking about major media, because people have a lot of trust in that. They trust that if a third party's interviewing you, you must be who you say you are. So why would these people interview you? So as the trust levels go up, or the trust triggers go up, trust triggers are magazine articles, press releases, news releases on things that you're doing, being published the right way, and being an educator and an advocate. So while I looked for that particular name, I didn't find anything, but I found somebody else there, and I click over and he's got their own YouTube channel, and he's got a series of videos telling me how to remodel my kitchen. And he's also got a shopping list on everything that I need to do it. Here's another side note. When you're an expert, you should have enough quality content to give away. And you're probably saying, Trace, how am I going to make any money? Well, you have to be an educator and an advocate first to your target audience. And you have to give them enough information where they can take it and apply it and get a result without paying you. So once you do that, and they see that you're looking for their success and you're trying to help them with the content that you have out there, don't be afraid to give it away. Don't be afraid to give it. In fact, I shut down a consulting firm 9 years ago because my partners were so holding things to their chest and they didn't want to help people. I was like, I'm not operating that way. I just can't do it.
And I think that's a really valid point, because people want to feel like you're going to give good stuff away. So if you give good stuff away, the stuff that you haven't given away is even better. No,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Here's a crazy concept. And then you can charge premium prices. What a thought.
Right. Woohoo. Right. Because
No.
now for your private work, right now for your hands-on coaching, your individual time, they're going to pay a lot more for that. And the bottom line is they do need that, because I could give away tons of checklists, and which I do in all these learning opportunities. But if they need that hand holding sometimes, and majority will.
The accountability part. So back to our search. So I see this person has a YouTube channel. He's been featured on a magazine. He's got his own DIY magazine on kitchen remodeling. I mean, this guy's the bomb. So who are you going to pick? Even though he showed you exactly how to do it, I don't want to do it myself. But he's going to do it for me, or a combination of a hybrid of do it with me. And even though he's charging a premium, 10 times out of 10, they're going to pick that person because he has those trust triggers. So that's what I do for people that think that they're not at the level of a Dave Ramsey or at the level of a Barb Corcoran on the Shark Tank. You can do the same thing at your level. You just have to get started.
That's great. That's really great points. And so for somebody maybe that says, okay, I need to start moving in that direction, what's one step from that list you think that they should take?
Here's what I found with speakers specifically. you get invited to speak, and say it's at, I always use the DoubleTree at Houston. I don't know why that sticks in my mind, but say you're speaking at the DoubleTree in Houston, which is great. I mean, speakers, that's what we do, is we speak at different venues. But you do a Facebook post or you do a social media post and you make an announcement. You say, hey, I can't believe I've been selected to speak here. I'm speaking on this topic and this is who I'm speaking with. And you get some reactions. People congratulate you and yada, yada, yada. But what happens after you speak? Where does that go? Where does that moment or that event go? So one of the least effective things that somebody can do right away is to do a news release. It's the most underutilized marketing tool out there. It's search. Searches love it. I mean, if you got your name and somebody searched and it says that you were a featured speaker at Notre Dame, third-party credibility and trust trigger right there, all because you took an opportunity to do it. And you generally don't have to do it. Professionals can do it for you and get the information out there and talk about you and what you did. That's a quick one. Getting on a podcast, anytime you're interviewed is an opportunity. And I would never turn down an opportunity to be interviewed on a podcast. So those are two quick things that you can do immediately.
I will share something, and you may agree with me too, is when it comes to, this is different from podcasts, like telesummits where people, right? So I'm sure you do, I get a lot of requests to be on telesummits, but I do have criteria for those things because it's my reputation going out there. So for somebody that's listening and not familiar with telesummit is, a telesummit is where they might interview 25, 30, 40 experts, or even less than that, maybe 8. And then it's done as a list building tool by the person that is hosting it. So they get all these experts sharing this telesummit, and it's usually an audio or it can be a video summit. And it's a great tool for that person, but we have to look at it from our own expertise. How are we going to be represented on that site? So is the person brand new for that? Is it first time they're doing it? Do they have somebody that has experience in helping them? Are you going to be listed on the homepage of that summit? Because if you're not listed on the homepage of that summit with your image and your topic, it's done nothing for your branding, right?
Absolutely.
So you want to be seen. So those are some important things when it comes to summits.
Yes, and there's a flip side to that. And having those assets is an opportunity, again, for you to take control of the exposure and not wait for other people to expose you, okay? Because as soon as you generate a link to a profile that you were on that telesummit, that is the minimum ROI for you. Because one, you're associated with other professionals. You were an expert at a subject that you were asked to participate in that. So that's a positive. So take those things into consideration for sure. And I was just asked to get on a global summit, and I just had a gut feeling. I just didn't want to participate. I didn't like the way the guy approached me, for one. It was from a standpoint of, okay, well, maybe you're good enough, but maybe you're not. It's like, okay, there's plenty of stuff out there. I don't need you. So don't ever be in a need mode. You're the prize, by the way. You guys are the prize. And go in with that attitude is you're the prize, and it's a benefit to them for having you, but be open to all those opportunities to get on a podcast, get on a TV show, get on an interview, video interview, because it's all those trust triggers that you're creating.
Yep. And I think, Shu, I'm going to backpedal a little bit on what I said. If somebody's listening and you're brand new, you've never had any interviews, and somebody want to interview you for a telesummit, take it. Take it. If you've been doing it for a while, then be a little bit more selective. Or as T. Allen Haynes said, if your heart is telling you it's not a right idea, listen to that, because it's just not going to be a positive experience. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Yeah. Well, I love that you shared it. So who's the one person that has inspired you the most?
Wow, that's a lot. I've been very blessed with the experiences that I've had in my life, and they all started when I was young. And, I had an opportunity to negotiate a business deal when I was 13, I guess. It was a short lived one, but, I had the gumption to go in and ask, for what I needed. It was to build a raft for a raft race for a local radio station, and I needed funds to build a raft. So I admired the guy that owned the grocery store down on the corner. He was a true entrepreneur, and I became fascinated with the word entrepreneur when I was young. And I'd made a mental note then that, I think I'm cut out for that. I think that's my journey. And so anyway, he was probably the first person that impacted me. He was owned the grocery store. He had a lifestyle where, he had an RV and they would go to Canada and go hunting, and he was going on vacation and helping the local community. He was well respected in the community and things like that. So that was he gave me my first job, by the way. Sweeping floors and cleaning restrooms for $2 an hour. So had a lot of respect for him. And then my mother, of course, she has a never quit, do not give up tenacity. And I think that's big in my DNA because I don't understand the word quit. It's like, we don't quit. It's just, okay, we had a setback. We just need to get back up and move forward. I mean, I would never get to where I'm at today and this is a note for those that are listening, is failure is part of it. It's almost more than success, because if the failure column is more than the win column, you're doing good. And that's the only difference between me, is my failure column is I have a lot more there because I kept getting up and moving forward. So to answer your question would be that grocery store owner and my mother are the two most influential people.
You said something that I think is super important to being an entrepreneur, is you're driven by impact.
Yes.
Right? You have to be, because if you're driven by just the monetary, and the monetary side is great, but if you're driven by just the monetary, then when things get rough, you quit. Right? But when you have that desire to change people's lives, to empower other people, so that they can go out and empower other people in their own way, it keeps you going no matter what happens, no matter how many no's you get, no matter how many walls you hit, no matter how many curveballs you get, you keep moving forward because that's part of your calling.
Yes, worry about the impact and the money will take care of itself.
That's right. That's right. So if somebody was watching this, in which I know they are, and they love what you're saying, who is the type of client that should be contacting you? Who's the person that needs to say, I've got to contact T. Allen Haynes. He can certainly help me. Who are those people?
Those people are you've experienced some success, or you could be just starting as well, but you've reached a plateau, or you're trying to get to a next level. You've never published a book. You've never spoken on a big stage. You have, you've tried some marketing and maybe it hasn't worked. That's the type of person that we're looking for. And we take you through a process of establishing your authority. And so you have content that educates and advocates to your target audience and separates you. I mean, when you're in a networking event and you have something different to hand somebody or something different to say, that immediately sets you apart and creates that celebrity status with you. And then we create the pattern of authority, and we put the formula together, and then we consistently do these things out there. And then you reach a tipping point where, you're 5-6 pages deep on a Google search of everything that you're doing and you're accomplishing and educating and advocating. So if you're stuck and if you're trying to get to the next level, the authority formula is definitely your next step.
Like, what type of people, industries typically come to you for help?
If you're an expert, I mean, an expert is defined as, you know, a little bit more than your target audience. And, you know, that could be a speaker, that could be a coach, could be a business owner, could be published authors. You could already have your book out there and maybe it's not doing anything for you. A lot of people don't understand, once I get published, what do I do next and how do I leverage that? And sometimes it's not about selling a lot of books. It's you know, we just put a program together, you know, the free shipping and, or the free book and add the shipping funnel, selling, you know, thousands of books and generating a revenue for you every month. So you don't have to be on stage all the time. I'm telling you, you know, speaking's good when you're out there, but you know, you don't want to be on the road 360 days out of the year speaking. I'm telling you, it's exciting for me, but you know, you want that mailbox money. You want that revenue coming in every month. So you've got to set that up. And part of your authority positioning is educating and advocating. So the book is just the beginning, and it should cover just one solution that you have. What I'm finding is that these wannabe authors want to publish. They know they want to publish, and then they get stuck by, well, I got to put all my knowledge into this book. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can write as many books as you want. And if you think about it, if you look at the top 10 most influential books ever in the history of the planet, do you have any idea how many pages they were?
35. And I'm only guessing that because I kind of have a little idea, not 100%, but a little bit. Go ahead, tell me.
60 to 100 pages. And we're talking The Art of War. We're talking, you know, these books that are known to impact people. And most of them have been made into movies. So don't make it hard on yourself. And, you know, we've got a process. We call it the 60-minute lead generation process that creates this lead magnet that we add the Dave Ramsey effect to it, the celebrity effect to it, and gets you positioned and creates that trust trigger over a 90-day period. So you have this. You don't have to wait 5, 10, 15 years to take advantage of this, and stop going out there saying that you're the expert. Other people need to say that you're the expert. Let the search engines say that you're the expert. And I cringe when somebody gets on stage and says that I'm the expert at. I'm like, don't do it.
Did you get that, everybody? Don't do it.
You're on the stage. You are the expert. You don't have to say that you're the expert. And but let these other things say that you're the expert. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, because if other people are talking you up, if other people are, you know, posting reviews on Google and Facebook and LinkedIn, there's where the credibility is. We could say we are this and that, but until other people say it, it really has no power. And yeah. And if other people are saying you're the expert, you don't need to say it.
That's right.
That's right. Love it.
So I'm your third party guy. I'm the guy that's talking about you. I'm the guy that's getting you on, you know, magazines and recognizing you and saying how great you are. And
that's awesome. So T. Allen, what would be the next step that somebody should take? If they're interested in talking with you, if they're interested in learning more about the work you do, how can they do that?
Yes, thank you for that. And, you know, I love helping entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and coaches and help them succeed. And the first thing that you could probably do to figure out what this authority marketing is about is you can download my book, and then I'll give you 3 videos to help you on your authority mindset, help you get into the mind of your prospect so they know that you are the authority, and some other good videos. And I'll help you with that formula. If you go to theauthoritycodebook.com and just put your name and email in there, and that'll send you to a page with all the videos on it, and you can download the book. And I've also got a script in there, a video script where you can use for your website on how to get into the mind of your prospect by answering the questions up front that they might have while they're watching you. And you should use that formula on anything you do, as far as producing a video for a website, to build that trust. And then how you can put other trust triggers there so people will do business with you. Creates a tipping point for them.
I love it. And I love that you're also addressing the mind, because I know in my work as a speaker success strategist, the mind can often stop people right in their tracks. They say, I want to do this, and then they do nothing. And it's because the little mind is telling them that they're not worthy, or somebody else told them that they're not worthy, they can't do it, and they bought into it.
Yes.
So all that stuff comes up, and it's different for everybody, but it comes up. And if you don't address the mind stuff, it's like literally putting a wall between you and your results. You won't move forward. So you need to know the action steps, as he's going to share with you, but you also need to handle the mind stuff that gets in your way. So I love that. That's great. And I'm going to go get that video thing, because I do a little bit on video templates, but I think sounds fabulous.
Yes. You've seen my speaker video about speaking for no fee. That's the script right there. So, and that's what we use for the sample. Back to that mind thing, there's a little syndrome out there called the imposter syndrome. And more so prevalent in females and males, but males have it as well. And the imposter syndrome is a syndrome where you think that you're going to be found out, that you're not the expert. So you put the blocks up, and you immediately, fear overcomes you, and you can't get that word down on a piece of paper, or you can't get that content made because you're afraid that you're going to be found out to be a fraud or a charlatan or something like that. So it's all a myth. All right. It's your mind playing games with you. And as long as you're sincere and authentic, and you truly can solve a problem, you have no problem getting your stuff out there and being seen as that authority or that expert.
That's awesome. I love that, because I know a lot of people who deal with that imposter syndrome, and I did a long time ago too. You know, who would believe me? So when I first started opening my business, this is over 13 years ago, I said to coach at the time, well, I need a certificate. You know what she did? She took out a piece of paper and wrote me out a certificate.
There you go. I love it. Yeah. That's a stall strategy. That's a fear talking to you. I need a certificate. That's an excuse. Get over it. You don't need no certificate.
Yeah, it's a lie trying to hold you back, or somebody else told you need a certificate. Who are you to do this? Say bye-bye. We're not having this conversation anymore, whether it's a real person or your mind. Just tell it, stop. Thanks for sharing. I'm moving on.
Yes. When my short stint in corporate America, I was trying to break out, and I was trying to position myself in corporate. By the way, these tactics work if you have a job, or not only an entrepreneur as well. But I turned to one of my mentors, and he said, write a book. And I'm like, write a book? I said, are you kidding me? I barely got out of high school English. And he said, yeah, write a book. So I immediately disqualified myself. And I said, well, I'm a pretty good photographer. I could do a photo book, and that way I don't have to write. And I never did the photo book, but I did I did publish, but I published for a partner of mine first. When I figured out how to do all this publishing back in 2009, just right when self-publishing became what it is today, published his book. And when I handed him that book, the admiration and the endorphin hits the endorphin shot I got from accomplishing that, I knew that was what I was supposed to do, is help these folks do this. And so my point is I immediately disqualified myself in saying that I could never write a book. Well, 6 books later and 6 bestsellers later, international bestsellers. I mean, who would have thought? If you told me when I was a sophomore in high school that this was what I was going to end up doing, I'd say you're absolutely crazy. Well, it'll never happen. But here we are. So.
That's right. I never saw myself being an entrepreneur. I thought entrepreneurs had to work too hard. And then of course, what happened? I became an entrepreneur who worked too hard, and then had to learn work-life balance in the journey of it. But when you're called to do something, you have to take leaps of faith. If your heart is telling you that you're here to change the world, if you're here to write a book, if you're here to be an authority in industry, share your tips and strategies with people, then do it.
Yes.
Do it, no matter what.
Do it. You might be surprised and might make a living at it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We are.
Yeah. And be realistic about your living. I mean, it's define and understand what it takes for you to have freedom and to live and do the things you want. And 10 times out of 10, it's not having $1 million in the bank. I mean, it's what is it going to take for you to live the life that you want to live? Make sure you understand that. And then once you understand that, you won't be disappointed. You'll have a plan, and you'll be wealthy beyond your means. And that's the true meaning of it right there.
That's awesome. Hey, Alan, will you tell people how they can go get the access to the free gifts that you talked about again, please?
Yes. I can't remember the link I shared with you, but I'm pretty sure it's the authoritycodebook.com.
Yes.
And it might be I'm sure it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
It might have a redirect link on it, but it'll take you to the authoritycodebook.com. It's just a real simple page. There's a video on it, but just I'll trade you your name and email for it. Once you get that, it'll scoot you over to another page with all the videos. You'll have 3 at the top and the 1, and then you'll have an invite to come into some more in-depth training if you'd like to do that as well. But just below that first video is a download link for the book. Go through the videos. And by the way, those videos, this is what you can do with your book. Here's a tip. We published a book back in 2014. It's called The Authority Mindset. And it was a multi-author book, and I took the content and I made videos out of it, and I created a sequence. So multi-purpose your content, and I've got that book sitting on the shelf and nobody's looking at it, but if they look at those videos, they're getting the content. So that's the process that you need to think. How can I repurpose this content that I'm generating?
Yeah,
and get it out there.
I love that, because I'll tell my clients, I help them write their talk from opening to closing. So I say, okay, now take your, secret number 1 that you shared and make a video of that. Secret number 2, take that and turn it into a blog article. Then take all those beautiful blog articles and put it in a book. It's just that easy.
Absolutely.
So much more complicated. So much more complicated. Well, T. Alan, you have been an amazing guest. I know that the viewers have received tons of value from our conversation today. And I really want to thank you for sharing your heart, your vision, and your desire to serve people with the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure, and I'm super excited about some things that we're working on going forward. So I look forward to that, and thank you very much for being on.
My pleasure, my pleasure. All right, bye everybody. Thanks for viewing, and we love you all. Bye.
Take care.